Good morning. It's Sunday, February 2nd, 2025. Welcome, everybody, to my YouTube channel. On Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock, we do live readings. We start with the transits moving ahead this week, and then we go by rising sign and we do a tarot reading for each sign. Welcome. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer. I had some thoughts before I start, so I'm going to allow people to gear up and get into the room. This last week on Wednesday, we had a moon cycle, and I did. Good morning, Katerina. It was a new moon in Aquarius. I had to think for a second. And we did live readings based on your questions. And this is the second time we've done it. I started it on moon cycles. And now I'm starting to think maybe I should do it on Wednesday afternoons from maybe 4 to 6 or 3 to 5 p.m. So every week you would have an opportunity to ask your personal questions versus just getting this general reading. And it doesn't mean we would give up Sunday mornings. Good morning, 145 Club. I think I'm going to do a poll and see how everybody responds, but I'm thinking of adding that to our weekly mix. The other thing I want to tell you is that, good morning, small wildflowers. I have had a transit in my 12th house of, as we all do, of Neptune, the North Node, and Venus all conjunct. And Saturn's in there too. Good morning, Judy. And I have just been so incredibly burnt out. I got to admit it. I didn't get the February's done yet. I'm not going to give up on myself. I'm planning on feeling very motivated tomorrow and Wednesday. Tomorrow and Tuesday. See, I'm like, So I want to, on one level, I want to apologize for my tardiness. And on another level, I want to surrender to my truth. I'm not a machine, and not that you think I'm a machine, but I say this to myself because I give myself these deadlines. So the Februarys are not out yet. And February is a big month. Okay. And then so is March and so is April. So I'm going to defer to your yearlies. Go look at those where I did address February, and then be on the lookout for them for this week. But on Wednesday afternoon, I think I'm going to do another live where you get to ask your personal questions. So I don't know if you guys were in last week. I think Katerina was in the first one, but it was just, they're fun. And I get to interact more. So let's talk about what's happening this week in the transits. Speaking of Venus, Neptune, the North Node. And this is the other thing I want to tell you. I feel totally pounded by these. And I'm gonna talk a little, give you a couple little stories because first of all, I want to say this. I'm a late degree Aries rising. So my first house is like 4 degrees Aries, mostly Taurus, and then a wee bit of Gemini. Then when we go into my second house, it's completely Gemini. My 6th house is huge. My 12th house is huge. Most of it is Aries, as I indicated, and it's also Pisces. So I have this transit of Neptune, Venus, and the North Node happening like dead center in my 12th house in Placidus. I think this is important, especially for those mid to late degree natal charts, rising signs, because it really changes your perspective. While I'm an Aries rising, I really look at the world very much through Taurian eyes, and my skills are very much based on my Geminian. I talk a lot. Did anyone ever notice that? Oh yeah, they sure do. And I do readings, and my 12th house is ruled by Mercury in my 8th house. I think this is important because this transit is bringing up stuff. First of all, it's bringing up issues with women, or issues with the feminine energy, issues with money, and issues with self-worth. Neptune is like, to me, Neptune is showing up like a ghost during this transit. Literally, women in my life, for no reason, for no argument or anything, are disappearing. And it's a weird feeling because I'm like, one part of me is like, what the F? And the other part of me is like, I surrender. So I went and looked at my chart. I don't actually look at my chart that much because I'm always looking at the transits and moving forward. And when I looked at my chart, I made a note. I have transit Uranus stationed at 23 degrees. It is making a quincunx to my sun, a blind spot where people don't see me and they just disappear unexpectedly. And it's making a T square from my Chiron at 22 degrees Aquarius to my Uranus at 20 degrees of Leo. I want you guys to go look at your charts right now. And rather than just looking at how the transits are hitting, look at sort of I almost feel like the Uranus is like background noise. It's a slow moving planet, yet it's mucking things up in Taurus in my first house. And maybe it's mucking things up, maybe it's not. That's the other thing. So this other thing I'm going to tell you. It's kind of a personal story, but my sister reached out to me back in the fall of, just before Thanksgiving, and invited me to go to lunch. And I never heard from her again until this last week. And it brought up anxiety for me, big anxiety, because I felt myself being called to, like, literally as if the queen had called and given me a command. And for a day and a half, I was like, I didn't know what to do because I don't want to engage. This woman is fixed moon, fixed sun, and she doesn't shift. So it's going to be, I know how this is going to roll. And it took me a minute. I'm telling you this for a reason, because I had to go into my 12th house and go into literally my bedroom and meditate. I had to ask Spirit what I got to know about this situation. I got an answer that this was an opportunity for me to be authentic in my truth to myself and potentially for myself break a karmic cycle. Neptune rules not karma in a bad way, but our repetitive soul's energy, okay? Neptune is this kind of erosive energy at the same time. It's like it rules the spiritual aspect, but it's the surrender of the ego not to want to have it work out, I guess, the way you want it to work out, or to say uncle when you get up against a fixed energy. I'm telling you all of this because I think this is happening for all of us in that Pisces energy. If it's in your 10th house, it's got something to do with your career and your public status. If Pisces is your 7th house, it's got something to do with your partnerships and your cooperation and harmony within them. If it's in your 4th house, it's got something to do with your home life and how you processed that. And to literally, I made a note to myself because Saturn is making a trine. I'm going to go through the other aspects, but Saturn's making a trine to Mars this week at 18 degrees, the Virgo degree. What are you enslaved to mentally? And then I thought Saturn also rules the wisdom of ages, rules history. And if we don't learn from our history, we repeat our history. So my whole point of this is with Venus and Neptune exact the North Node at 28 degrees of Pisces right now. It's the 28th degree is that Cancerian degree, okay? It's the degree of thought, 10 degrees. And what will I do to process my self-worth in regard to Venus, my money, my beauty, my partnerships, my resources, my possessions, all of that which she rules? Will I take the spiritual Neptune high road and connect with spirit with what I want? Or will I inadvertently fall prey to the South Node's opposition, being critical of what I have not been yet? So wild. That's what I think. Now, on 4th, Venus is going to enter Aries, which is traditionally her detriment. And I say traditionally because we are in modern times where the female or the feminine role is being redefined. And in that redefining, I don't know if I think Venus is so much in detriment. She has an opportunity to be a pioneer about the self. She has an opportunity to discover her bravery and her own viewpoint. So, and she's going to only go to, I think, about 10 degrees before she retrogrades and moves back into her exaltation. So this is, I think, a super reflective time. And I want to offer this because this week, there were a couple, I worked super hard on personal readings and I got the love and the monies out. But I've given myself sort of this crazy schedule of chasing the planets. Other astrologers just talk about natal stuff and synastry, etc. And I had to give myself permission, the South Node in Virgo in my 6th house, to not push myself vibrationally into not enjoying this work. That's why I was so excited about how much fun Wednesdays has been for me. Or I should say the moon when we were doing the personal readings, because it's so much more interaction for me to chat with you all. So I've been reassessing things. So I want you to try this week, if Mars in Cancer, as it's retrograding at the very challenging 18th degree, is kicking up some dust in your emotional body, your intuitive body, how you feel about, I was thinking about how crabs are, they pinch, but they're not necessarily deadly, and so Mars, who likes to be a warrior and likes to annihilate his enemy, is so trapped in Cancer not to do old habits. And Saturn is representing that trine, old habits. Will you extract the wisdom of it, or will you do the same thing and expect a different result? And that's what happened when I went in my meditation about my sister, because even though I am stretching for awareness, she is not. So why go into a situation that is ultimately going to be probably not good? So anyway, so that's that about. And I'm going to go on now. Okay, so Jupiter is at 11 degrees of Gemini, and it will stay at 11 degrees for a lot of February, all the way to the 24th, because it's going to move forward on the 4th. Now, the 11th degree is the master number of thought. We saw the Venus, Neptune, and the North Node at the 28th degree, reducing down to a 10. Now we see Jupiter stationing at 11 degrees. So I think that's something to pay attention to, is that expansive, Jupiterian energy about how I'm thinking. What am I musing on? What is the thought under the thought? Then, of course, Mars is making the trine to Saturn. It is also making a quincunx, or an in conjunction to the Sun at 18 degrees Aquarius, which is conjunct Mercury. Now, that's only going to last for about a day on the 6th, but this is where I feel like two planets are, here's the Sun in Aquarius, where, it's interesting to me because Aquarius is the opposite house of Leo, and Leo is ruled by the Sun. So Leo is technically the Sun is technically in detriment in blah, 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 Aquarius. My brain just stopped working for a second, because we don't think about that often. We don't think about how the planets that are in detriment in certain houses, like the big Sun, because the Sun is about the self and Aquarius is about mass consciousness, the collective, and the future. So I think that this Mars quincunx the Sun is conjunct Mercury, is a surrender moment. I can't really take action. Mars is not in good standing. Mars is in fall. Mercury is like musing about wanting to move the story forward, but the Sun at this moment has to think about the bigger picture. That's the point. And so this is a week that I think is kind of a funky, like it could be great and you could feel really good about, these epiphanies, these aha moments that you have for yourself. And I want to offer this too, because literally I started off talking about the broadcast that the Venus energy in my life, women are just ghosting me. And let me offer you this. I want to tell you that I think that Small Wildflowers is probably one of the most great human beings that ever walked the planet of Earth. She is loyal, she is dependable and practical, and she is I don't know, the boss of, I just can't even tell her how much I appreciate her, because we have this is our common place, is you guys, and we weren't friends before this started. It's no odd, girl. You got to stand up and own your Venus as she moves into Aries. It's time, because this modern age allows people to really be rude and dismissive and ghosty and funky, and my Taurus and moon doesn't like that at all. It likes manners. My sun in Libra likes manners. If you don't want to hang out, that's fine. Then have the balls to come out and say something. Don't just ghost me. So anyway, and I had to refrain from really unleashing on somebody that I thought was just total, like, I can't even believe it. I'm still kind of fried about it, but kumbaya, surrender. I don't want to waste my time on people with that vibration anymore. I don't want to waste my time on being right about people I don't care about that much. Is that mean to say? Okay, let's start with our birthdays, our little Aquarians. Happy birthday. My friend Amy's birthday was yesterday. Good morning, DJ. Good morning, Jules. Good morning, Cece Pups. Okay, so you guys, as you trickle in the room, I'm thinking about, some of you were on our Wednesday live where we did readings focused on your questions. I'm going to do another one, I think, this Wednesday, but this time I think I'll do it from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. That might help the time zones a little bit. And Small Wildflowers, if she wants to pop in after she gets off work. And then we have the East Coast could be covered, and hopefully so I'm going to announce that, and I'm going to do a poll. So look for the poll, because I want to see what time frames are working for you best. And if you want to do this every week, or you just want to do it on the full moon and the new moon, I personally think it's kind of fun. I'm enjoying it a little. Not that I don't enjoy Sunday mornings, because I do, but I was really I only did it twice, and it was so much fun. I was thinking doing 4 to 6 this time, because that would make it 7 to 9 on the East Coast, which seems kind of reasonable. People get a chance to get home, maybe get something to eat. And those that are getting off work at 5 might be able to listen in for a little while. I just, I'm playing with the times. I'm going to do a poll and ask people what they think. Yeah, I thought so too. And I thought if we did it every Wednesday, I was thinking about doing it every Wednesday, because everybody has questions every week, and the transits are so freaking crazy right now. I mean, maybe they were always crazy, and they just feel crazier to me now than they've ever been. Thank you, Catherine, for putting in a question, and thank you for all your donations on Wednesdays. That's fun. Helps me get on the algorithm. See, that's my big challenge, is YouTube doesn't know I exist yet, so people don't know how fabulous our tribe is. All right, so let's start with our Aquarians. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. As you have Mercury in the house. You don't have to promise to ever be there, but I just thought if you wanted to be there, you popped in like at the very 5 minutes. And so this is no obligation for you, darling. I just thought maybe if you wanted to, come in, and you wouldn't be, or maybe it's better to do it when you're working, so you could just take a little break and get paid for coming in and working and seeing us. All right, let's mosey on. No. Okay, Aquarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And let me tell you this, the more I do this work, I love you guys so much. Check your moons. Your moons are really, I think, the most important sign. Every time I see, especially when I see someone with a stellium in a certain house, and while the stellium can kick in, the moon indicates how the stellium kicks in. It's cool. It's kind of crazy. All right, Aquarius. In the foundational position, we have the High Priestess. Ooh. In the opportunity, the obstacle, the Knight of Cups. In the Angel's Advice, the Emperor. And in the final position, we have the Devil. Very interesting. Good morning, Angela. Okay. So this is what I think. The minute I look at this, I feel as if for my Aquariuses, this week is really, if we think about Aquarius, and we go by whole sign, which we do on Sunday mornings, that makes Aquarius your 12th house. I'm sorry. Aquarius is your first house. Pisces is your second house. I made a mistake for a second, my brain. I feel as if this week is important for you to connect with your meditations, connect with your deeper truth. See how there's like almost feels like a star in the middle of what she's holding. Is that an actual? It is a star. You rule the stars. The high priestess is all about meditation, connection to your inner truth, your inner knowing. The Knight of Cups seems to be supporting this, because for some reason, when I look at the Emperor's coming across as an individual energy, where I've got to kind of trust my intuition and my instincts and my own emotional body and do my own thing. Because somewhere, and I'm going to pull a clarification card, I think this is coming more as restriction. I told you earlier that we've got Saturn making a trine to Mars, and this is an extraction of wisdom, because Mars is in fall. Saturn is not considered in the best energy in Pisces. And while there's a harmonious aspect to it, they're at the 18th degree, which to me indicates that Virgonian degree of obligation, a feeling of even sometimes I have a perception that I've got to do something versus do I want to do it. So let me pull a clarification card and find out if this is some sort of authority over you or if it's, a fear. The Three of Pentacles. Now that's a work thing. So work this week, your work environment, the people that hold dominion over you within your work environment, and that's even clients. Okay, you're going to have to use your inner knowing this week versus how they show up, and because the Three of Pentacles is Mars in Capricorn, but we know Mars is not in Capricorn. This is a work situation. So, or some sort of interaction with, so I'm going to leave it at work. Trust my initial instinct. So it may not be a good time for you to act. And while you are ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is stationed at 23 degrees, if something unexpected happens that you want to jettison out of something, I would just try to take a deeper breath before you actually bolt. Oh, DJ, agreed. I think she's been super bright, like to the point where I'm like, is that actually Venus or something else? Don't you think she's been really bright? So that Capricorn energy is a little bit tough there. But I think that this is where I honestly think this Venus-Neptune North Node conjunction in Pisces has this weird feeling for me of ghosting, like either I'm going to talk to ghosts and find my self-worth by trusting my guides. Your guides, ghosts, whatever. Pardon me for being frivolous with spirit on the other side. They do have a sense of humor. Or I'm going to feel an erosiveness from the female energies in my life by them being blurry and murky and not solid at all. She's the closest. Yeah, I know she's the closest. She sometimes looks like a diamond in the sky to me. All right, here we go on to our Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. They should have had a V8. All right, we're going on to our Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And that stellium, if you have a stellium and there's a stellium happening, wow, you're having a lot of planetary returns. That's a lot to pay attention to. And I say that because I truly believe that while some of these transits are difficult in their initial, like I literally had this woman confirm a social event with me, and within 12 hours or less of the event, she just ghosted and disappeared. And while I showed up, she did not. This is a 64-year-old woman. You would think she would have some manners and have some decorum, and yet she just ghosted me. Neptune, Venus in Pisces, in my 12th house. And I had to think about whether or not this was me. What did I do? And I thought, I didn't do anything. And it took a while to get there. So pay attention to this kind of stuff, because if something is moving out because of that transit right now, it's okay. Let it go. Yeah, that's on her. And sometimes it's hard to see that, So, and it could be, even if there's money right now going out, because Venus rules money too, then you get to also know that maybe you're tired or you have something going on where you need rest. Neptune is rest. Well, sometimes it just blows my mind, I just don't know why people, yes to your face, but they're no on the inside. Why don't they just know up and man up and move on, Sorry. I'm just not a bullshitter. I just don't do shit like that. I just like, if I don't literally, okay, this is how rude I am. I have had clients ask me, Teri, do you want to go have lunch? I have like one gal who I truly love. I think she's awesome, but I don't like to go out with clients. So I say to her, I'm not really good at this. I don't want to have lunch with you because you're going to start to talk about your life and I'm going to feel like I'm working. You want to talk about General Hospital? You want to talk about, nonsense, politics, whatever, although politics is crazy with some people, but you get my point. And I'm willing to say that. And people are shocked that I'm willing to say that. And hopefully they take it the right way. Most of them have, but I just don't bullshit. I just don't. So, all right, Pisces. Speaking of bullshit. No, I'm kidding. Love you so much. Yeah. All right, here we go. In the foundational position is the Empress. There's that Venus energy. We've got the Strength card. We've got the Ace of Swords. And then we have the Emperor. This is very interesting. We've got 3 out of 4 major arcana cards. And we have this really, look, Neptune is in the last degrees and will retrograde back into Pisces, but it's about to move into a new sign this year, which is going to really change how you as a Pisces feel, because your second house is Aries. So when Neptune moves into Aries, the house of your voice and your skills, you're going to be asked to step up your game and pretty much own the Venus energy that you are. This is the ultimate. And what are we talking about? Venus is literally in the last degrees of your first house. We have the Strength card, which kind of doubles down for me on the Venusian energy. I know this is a Leo energy, but it's also a creative energy. And so is the Empress. And new ideas are coming. New ideas will continue to come, and they're coming from the stars. That's where we see this crown of stars here, where your power comes from. And then we have the Emperor. Now note that we have the Emperor and the Empress. Empress in the first position, Emperor in the final position. This could have something to do with relationships. It could have something to do with your creativity, because romance comes with the Strength card. And let me offer this, because as the planets are retrograding, Mercury is going to go into Pisces soon, and then it's going to retrograde in Pisces. This brings old lovers back, old friends back, siblings back, cousins back. Somewhere here, Pisces being offered an opportunity to really assess what they want, what their value is, how they feel about the feminine dynamic in their lives, the receptive dynamic. Now that Strength card is here, okay, asking you to really look at the Kundalini energy. In this deck, we see her holding this red snake, and we see her torso is in a red garb with the infinity sign. Also, that 8 sort of looks like an 8. There's also a heart in there. So it's like trusting your heart. And even if that heart is contrary to something else, the ideas that come, Pisces, it's really sort of important for you to take that individualistic, pioneering stance. And we even see the horses, the white and the black horse, which we also see in the Chariot in this deck. Here they feel more tamed. They feel more understanding of the duality of themselves and life. And we get to remember that the horse is a very intuitive animal. All animals of prey are very intuitive by nature. Humans might call them skittish because they don't trust easily, because they could be eaten. So here, I think this is where you've tamed that part of yourself, and we even see this cougar maybe being eating out of the emperor's hand. So there's a taming of something being offered to you. And I think that's through connecting through the Neptunian energy of seeing how sometimes our challenges or the interruptions that happen are offering us insights that we hadn't had before. I also just noticed this owl is holding a star, the top of the Empress, offering her wisdom through her connection to spirit, finding center and duality. That's the ultimate Libra energy, if you ask me. Okay, hold on here. I've got a little something running here. I don't know what it is. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay, let's go on to our Aries, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. It's truly interesting sometimes when I think about how the planets show up in the mundane, because Neptune, is erosive. They say Neptune blurs things. Neptune can wash things away. Neptune can be ferocious if you think about the ocean storms. And another thing that happened was that I've got this thing going on in the background of my life, and every person who's been assigned to this job has had to take a leave and be gone from their job. It's like, and it's been over a year. So again, surrendering. My Mars, my Aries rising wants to frickin' go, come on, people, what the heck? And yet it won't do me any good. So I have to understand that the Neptune at the higher vibration is saying you can't see something. This could work out way better than you think it is if you surrender to spirit and trust and don't look at the timing. So here we go, Aries. Let's see what's happening for you this week, or how spirit would like you to take advantage of the transits that you're experiencing, because your ruling planet is in quincunx with the sun and Mercury in a fixed sign, meaning the sun and Mercury are in a fixed sign. And then Mars is making that, Mars retrograde is making that trine to Saturn, exact at 18 degrees. Oh, yeah. Who knows what happens? One time I was walking, this was actually before COVID, but I was walking the dog, and this guy was like in his truck putting on a wetsuit, and the phone rang, and he picked it up, and he's like, hey, dude, I'm in a meeting right now. Can I call you back in about an hour? And then he hung up the phone, and he was going surfing. And I laughed so hard because it's just so funny, the things we can get away with nowadays because of technology. All right, our Aries, let's see where we're going. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. The 5 of Pentacles. Oh, God, I'm so sick of that. The Knight of Wands inverted. The 2 of Pentacles. And the 6 of Wands. No, not easy. Not easy. When we look in this deck, the 5 of Pentacles is literally me and Lucky in a cold spot where we can't really do anything or move. My health is good, so I don't look at it that way. But I have experienced rejection. I just mentioned the lady that I didn't say it was a lady, but it was. Oh, yeah, I did, because of Venus, who totally ghosted me, like literally just rudely and unceremoniously ghosted me. And even when I texted her and said, you don't have to reply, you'd think she would have the courtesy and the decorum to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'll reply. She didn't. Coward. So this is what I want to offer. Because if for some reason Aries is feeling like people are just, you're invisible, look, your ruling planet is in Cancer. It's in retrograde. It's been a little pissed off, honestly. It had to go through oppositions to Pluto and get no respect and be asked how, this is Mars, why Mars is so pissed off. Mars is in Cancer, repeating himself, doing the same damn thing over and over again, because that's the home, the habit, right? And I say the habit because we have habits of thought that are born within our upbringing, our home environment. So if for some reason this week feels cold and rejecting, I want you to start to think that this is an opportunity to feel a sense of fire again. The Knight of Wands is literally, to me, when he was inverted, he feels like it's almost like that heat is being turned down. When I looked at him, it's like, I don't have the time or the inclination anymore to waste my precious Martian energy on old crap that doesn't serve me anymore. And that's the trine to Saturn, the opportunity. Because what I want is flow and ease. This Two of Pentacles is flow and ease. The nice thing about this deck is the Two of Pentacles, the gal's like riding on the boardwalk on a beach, and the pentacles are going like this. Because I really think this is an opportunity for Mars to put its childhood in the past where it belongs. And I mean it this way, where you don't have to follow the rules of yesteryear. You don't have to follow the things that don't feel authentic, Detachment. Yeah, but detachment is interesting too, because I don't want to be detached from my emotions. I don't want to feel, because I'm still emotive about certain things, but I want to be reconciled and feel at peace about, you guys know I have this saying that sometimes you have to be the villain in someone else's life to be the hero in your own. And this is exactly how I feel right now, that I will be villainized no matter what I do. So I'm going to pick the villain role that I enjoy the most. And that's the one of detachment. I don't have the energy, the time, or the life span left to care about people who are rude, who are inflexible, who treat me as if I'm not valuable. I'm too valuable to myself, and my time is too valuable. I would rather sit on my bed watching Traders Australia than talk to people who treat me like I'm some sort of tool. So that's what's going to happen for you, because your planet, Aries, is just demanding that you go about things from a different way. You pioneer out of the situation versus fighting in it anymore. Not worth it. It's not like you can't fight. You just don't have to. All right, let's go on to our Taurus rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our Five of Swords, another fun card for my moon sign. Okay, Five of Swords, not fun. Then we have the 10 of Cups, inverted, the 4 of Cups, and then the 4 of Swords. Okay, so Uranus is transiting through the first house of Taurus. And for me, in my natal chart, it is making transit Uranus is the focus of a T-square between my natal Uranus and my Chiron. The 5 of Swords is an interesting energy because literally it's a card of contempt, where you win an argument, but you don't feel good about it. Taurus rules family history. I think the stellium in Pisces, while that's not, that's Taurus's 11th house technically, it feels like it's bringing up about your hopes and your dreams and what you really want, because this is turned upside down. This is usually a really fun card, and the 10 of Cups. And while it's not terrible upside down, Spirit is literally saying that there is something missing right now. And I think part of that is whatever story Taurus has, because, Taurus rules family history. We've got Pisces ruling spiritual, the Akashic records, and we've got Saturn ruling mankind, the ages, and I really feel like Saturn's trine to Mars, even though Mars is, let me think for a second. What is that? Your third house, Cancer? Yeah, because that would be potentially offering Taurus an opportunity to rethink that idea. Like, do I need to carry this stuff with me? Because literally, Spirit is offering you rest and protection after feeling sort of. Uranus may be bringing up some stuff where, through harsh situations, you're being offered a redefinition on some level, like what is really important to me. That's the way this is coming across. I'm going to pull a clarification card. Wisdom is being offered. Definitely taking a pause. I want to say this too. Okay, we all have deadlines. We all have laundry to do. We all have marketing to do. Some of you have kids to take care of. Maybe this is a week to be extra gentle with those rules and regulations on yourself as well. and think about self-care versus pushing. Because, Taurus will push themselves. Taurus will be like, I've got to get it done, or it won't get done. And this is very much about not pushing. That Five of Swords too is like, this is the other thing, and I'm going to be very gentle when I say this, but even if you're doing something nice for those that you love, that in your family, if you're pushing, people may not appreciate it. They'd be like, so just be mindful, because this is a win-lose energy. And it also, you can see the swords in the heart right there. And each handle has a different color, so it's like representing the chakras. So it might be a time to really, truly take care of yourself. Oh, you're experiencing that Virgo. If you're a Virgo, the 27 degree is the moon. Okay, so your moon is on the galactic center. You can download information. The hard part is trusting it when it seems crazy. And I don't mean crazy like build a plane. I mean like everything's going to be all right when everything is terrible. Oh, if you two have the same moon, you two would get along great. You would think you would be like two peas in a pod. Okay, here we go on to our Geminis, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Jupiter is about to go direct in your first house. It's going to stay at 11 degrees for most of the month to like the 24th, I believe. Yep. That's pretty powerful, because it really gives an opportunity to integrate that Jupiterian expansion with being aware of my thoughts. That 11 degrees is the master number of thought, and it's also the Aquarian energy, so there could be liberating thoughts, epiphanies, ideas that are like, oh, why didn't I think of that? All right. In our foundational position for our Geminis, the Knight of Swords. We have the Nine of Cups in the opportunity or the obstacle. We have the High Priestess in the Angel's Advice, and the Ten of Swords. Ooh, that feels like something's going to be happening. Okay, so if we think about Gemini, I believe Pisces is your 10th house. Something's going to happen at work. The drama. Yeah, I know. The Ten of Swords but it doesn't feel like it's happening to you. It feels like it's happening around you. I don't know why, or not you per se, but around Gemini. Let me look. Oh, the sun will shine. Okay, there might be drama this week. The funny thing about, these planets is they're stationing to go direct, because Uranus is stationed, right? And it's in your 12th house. I wonder, and I'm going to be kind of crazy here, I wonder if a female energy, and I say energy, not just a woman, because men can have a dominant feminine energy as well. I wonder if somebody either has a meltdown at work or literally blows out. Like, I can't do this anymore. Because then the sun shines after the drama. And there's wish fulfillment. And there's the High Priestess. It's almost like when I look at this, I almost feel like there's been a problem child in the workplace, and they finally quit their job. Hallelujah. Isn't that terrible to say? But whatever it is, there through some sort of drama. Nope, it's not terrible to say. Through the drama, you could come out smelling like a rose. So, because I look at this and I see the heart and the yin and the yang, and I see the butterfly, and this feels very vibrant, like the rainbows after the storm. So, try not to engage if somebody, like if something drama starts, go the other way. And if you're part of the drama, kumbaya your way through it. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. Is that terribly disingenuous? Maybe I've been watching too much Traders. I really love whoever told me that they did Traders in Australia, because it's the first season of that was so good. Okay, on to our Cancers, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Here we go. Well, say some thank you prayers. Thank you for removing any imbalancing energy that disrupts the peace in my workplace. It's very careful. I want to offer this because I'm very mindful of how I focus my energy, because if I make someone the bad guy, it always seems to shoot me in the butt, you know? So I try to just make it general, because oftentimes when I do that, the imbalancing person or situation does go away, and it isn't me. But my Martian energy wants to villainize people, make them the bad guy. And then I get out my white hat. And, God would literally say, that's not true, Teri. And then give me all the reasons why the bad guy isn't bad. And I'd be like, oh, God, literally. Oh, God. All right, Cancer, are you ready? Rising moon. If you're Cancer moon, you are super, super intuitive. I would say, you're up there at the top. I always think the Scorpio is the most, but Cancer, so you're very tasked, because you got to really work on that self-worth when you're that intuitive, because otherwise you can feel the dark side. Okay, here we go. We have the Empress. That's Venus. We have the Nine of Pentacles. That's the self-made human with money in their pocket. We have the Magician, as above, so below, and the Nine of Swords. All right. The Pisces energy trines you technically. It is your fifth. No, it's got to be your ninth house. Anyway, don't quote me right now, because this is what I want to say. The Empress is that Venusian energy, and you've got Mars in the house. And I think on some level, that Mars could actually be triggering something inside of you that could be worried about money. Literally going to say it. Worried about money and finances and resources, because the Empress rules money. The Nine of Pentacles rules money as well. It's a self-made woman. It also represents some healthy boundaries with the dark side. She's holding the dove of peace. We see all the wisteria. It's beautiful. The Magician is telling you, be mindful of your thoughts, as above, so below, because you might be in worry mode. Now, I will say this. A lot of people, the minute the South Node went into Virgo, the sign of work, a lot of people I know and my clients started to feel a pinching and a tightening. I don't think that that's going to be sustained that way, but I'm going to pull a clarification card for my Cancers. And there's the Queen of Cups. So this is really echoing back to the Empress. So you get to be mindful of your thoughts. Worry is a form of prayer that doesn't serve you. It really disempowers you. It says, I have no power over this situation. And your perspective and your focus is very, very powerful. So when you feel tight with money, you just this is your mantra. All the resources I need come to me easily and often. That encompasses money and any favors or any help that you might need. So we don't put a number on it. Welcome, little grasshopper. Will I see you at 3:00 this afternoon? I haven't been able to look at my phone. I've been here. Will I see you at 3:00? Okay, here we go. On to our Leo's rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay, I'll send out the Zoom when I get done here after I eat something. So, dry January. I completed dry January, and I feel so amazing that I'm just like sliding right into freedom from alcohol February. I really can't. I'm really surprised at how literally like 7:00 comes and I'm ready to jump up and take a walk. It's just kind of fun to notice how things affect me when I eat them. Okay, let's Leo. Ooh, here we go. You ready? In the foundational position, we have the 10 of Pentacles. In the opportunity or the obstacle, we have the 6 of Cups. In the Angel's Advice, we have the Devil. That's so fun. And then we have the Strength card in the final position. The Ten of Pentacles is a card of tradition. It rules large corporations. There's the king and the queen and the little prince and princess. It rules abundance. It's not really, it's a family card, but it's really a card that represents lineage, represents what's been built in the material that is sustainable. In the opportunity or the obstacle, we have this Six of Cups, but it's inverted. And I almost wonder if this was representative of you being sort of, when I look at the Ten of Pentacles, I'm feeling like this is an idea. There's the key here. I don't know that this is actually sitting, that every Leo right now is sitting. I think it's more of what you want. Pluto is in your 7th house of Aquarius. It's the very early degrees, and it's going to be having you thinking of the future and what you want in the way of home, hearth, family traditions, feeling a sense of blooming and blossoming. The Six of Cups could invert a little bit of the childlike, the part of you that's been a child has not been able to, it's been thwarted a little bit, because the Devil card is, in the angel's advice, rules fear, restriction, feeling encased. See these two people? They're literally in depression, and they're stuck in their loop. And then I got the Strength card, but it was inverted as well. This is that Leo energy. And it almost makes me feel as if it's like a little bit about taking a pause here and really, because in this deck, that the Strength card is, we don't actually see her focusing in, on the Lion. We see her focusing in on something that's happening repeatedly. We see that all in her torso. And then she's holding that snake, which is that Kundalini energy. So I think that Leos are really contemplating their future, their connection, their abundance, the traditions, and how they want their life to be. I can't help but keep seeing this little angel in the corner. I never noticed see this little angel right here? I really think that might say that angels are watching over you during this time, and you may not realize it, that magic could be happening, but maybe you're too focused in on what has got you locked up. Pluto is definitely going to bring in a deeper truth. And when I talk to Spirit, one of the first things I say before my prayer work is, please make me brave enough to recognize the deeper truth of my wants and desires and what the motive is for wanting them. So, when I want security, then I realize I feel a lack of flow or a lack of security. So I always ask Spirit to help me see the flow that they bring forward. And flow is not just, a raging river going one direction. It's ebb and flow. It's just been kind of I come from a long line of people who, have a beer. Or, like to go out and, do wine tastings and things like that. There's always games involved and fun. One side of the family, very much more game-oriented, drinking game-oriented. The other side was more depression-oriented. I don't know why I'm going to use this deck for my Virgos. I just got a feeling to change it. So this is an interesting dichotomy, because I didn't plan. I had no intentions. That wasn't my New Year's resolution. I just woke up one day and said, I'm kind of sick. I think I had too much eggnog, frankly, over the holiday, and I think I OD'd on eggnog in a good way. Oh, yeah. That too. That's very good. That's going to now trigger in my mind that public image and traditions 145 club. Thank you for sharing. That's a powerful thought, because depending upon the degrees of things in your natal chart, there could be all sorts of complementary aspects, or even some kind of challenging. Yeah, me too. Like, I always made it fun, You know what? I feel, honestly, every time I drink, I don't really feel bad physically. I just feel melancholy. And I hear Kyle Richards on the Beverly Hills Housewives saying, I can't afford to be depressed right now. That's why she's not drinking. And I think that that's spirit telling me that alcohol, even the smallest amount, is depressing me, and I don't realize it because I don't feel depressed, but I feel sluggish and I feel draggy and I feel bleh. And I'm tired of that. Okay, so I've changed my sugars too. Something else. All right. Are we ready for our Virgos? I've been yapping away. All right, we've got the Four of Cups in the foundational position. We have the Queen of Cups in the opportunity or obstacle. We have the Lover's card in the Angel's Advice, inverted, and the Two of Pentacles. Okay. So the Four of Cups is in this deck. I really like it because Spirit is, when I see the swing and I see the shell, I feel like Spirit is asking Virgo to be more flexible, to be more flowy, and to listen for some sort of clue. I can't help but think that if I were to take that shell and put it to my ear, I would hear the sound of the ocean, which takes me to the Queen of Cups. As the South Node has entered the sign of Virgo, one of the biggest things that it's offering you is to be aware of where you've become a little too earthbound, too rigid in your processes, too rigid in your thinking, too worried about being, knowing where you're going and having there's a flow of your intuitiveness. That's why Pisces is the opposite sign. It's stretching you to trust a connection that you cannot see with your physical senses, because the Lover's card here is not about choice of lover. It was inverted. It feels like it's that Spirit is asking you to make the choice of trusting your intuitive body and trusting playtime. I really think that part of that South Node transit through Virgo is going to be, where do I feel obligated, enslaved? I feel a sense of duty that is beyond balance. And where can I find the flow and the balance, and literally take this idea on the road with me? I think that the next year and a half, as I experienced the South Node going through my rising in my my first and seventh house, I have a lot of planets there, and it was a time of a lot of reflection. Things necessarily didn't happen on the outside. Well, maybe they did, but each experience offered me a piece of information that I think is making me more aware, which is, on some level, I'm feeling the shift to the higher vibration of the planets, knowing that when they offer me a down, they then offer me an up. So right now, as I've been feeling a little sluggish and want to be in my room watching movies and entertaining myself, Venus and Neptune in my 12th house, I also know that if I don't do self-care, I'm not a machine, and I'll blow up at some point. So anyway, okay. Sadly, alcohol is a depressant, and after the moment doesn't benefit much. No. It's funny. I don't actually drink to get drunk. I like the taste of wine. And as I'm having a friend over next Sunday to watch the Super Bowl with me, we did it last year, so we're going to do it again this year. And I literally pictured myself like trying to have a glass of wine and not liking the taste. So I'm going to have a variety of other little things for me. And if I decide I want to have a glass of wine, I'll have one. But if I don't, I won't. Okay. Because I don't want to make it like I'm suddenly, but I don't think I'll want one. I just don't have any cravings. Okay. My bed calls me a lot too lately. And I've been watching now that I have this Peacock on my computer, it's like I'm way more comfortable. Oh, well, I'll have to remember that if I have any vocal cord issues. It also has resveratrol in it. Okay, but you have to drink so much to get the benefits of that. All right. I might also, if I am going to actually drink, I just might elevate the, like I wouldn't buy cheap wine. I'd have to get a good bottle of wine. If I'm going to pay the price, it's going to be good, not bad. Okay. On to our Libras, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. In the foundational position, we have the Lovers card. That's a choice card right now. The Four of Pentacles is in the opportunity or the obstacle. We have the Five of Swords in the Angel's advice. And then we have the Eight of Cups. Holy crap. Every one of my signs, my sun, my rising, they're all giving me nonsense. Sorry. Okay. The Lovers card here, to me, inverted, feels like it's about choice. And to take a minute and before you make a choice, because okay, this is how it feels, Libra. I'm a spicy Libra because of my Aries. So I don't expect every Libra to be spicy. But if you're feeling like you're stuck in a box and someone's keeping you from blossoming into the swan that you are, Spirit is asking you not to act on it, not to feel this sense of ego going on, because, and I mean that edging God out, okay? Because something is happening that you can't see. When I see this Eight of Cups, especially in this particular deck, the girl is not swimming away from anything in, something has, this is more cups are fallen in this deck than you usually see. Usually the cups are all balanced, except for there's a hole in the middle. Here, she's walking away from spilled milk, the things in life that hasn't worked. She's accompanied by this dolphin representing joy, and she's following the dove of peace, and she's going up towards what she wants. I really think that this is a very definitive time for people to make choices in their reactions and where, who you're going to waste your time on. When you're young, I think you're more willing to fight because you care more about everybody's opinion. And when you get a little bit older, you start to realize that your own opinion is so much more important. So I want to offer this too, because that Lovers card, so Libra has Aries 7th house, which makes the stellium that you're going to experience with Venus and Neptune and all of that is in your 6th house. I want to offer this too. If something in your work environment is affecting your health, like your stress, right? Like you're like, oh my God, I can't really speak my truth because that bulldozer of a coworker will blah, blah, blah me. And I think this is a little bit where you're going to have to trust God and the angels a little bit and make a choice, because that Lovers card is Geminian. And as Jupiter stations, right? I think that's your 9th house, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And I think that would be important to really start to connect with how can I express my deeper truth and trust that I won't experience contempt, because somewhere you want to come out of this freaking box, literally. And when I look at the stone, it almost feels like a rune or a window of some kind. There's all these triangles, and I feel like the only path is really the Trinity. Like that's how I see it: Father, Son, Holy Ghost. So I don't know, this week, Libra, you're probably making a choice that you have to make, or recognizing something, a deeper truth that you have to surrender to. Oh no, now I'm going to have that in my head all day long. I've had some really weird. You want to hear a weird one I'm going to give you to have in your head? Okay, here you go. And this, I don't know if everyone's going to remember this, but more than likely. Y'all remember that song, On Top of Old Smoky, all covered with snow? Remember that song? I saw a big meatball. It's some weird song from I had that stuck. I don't even know where it came from the other day. Literally. If anybody else knows that song, I'll actually laugh and die. I don't know all the words. I just know the lyrics. The melody right now. All right, on to our Scorpios, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. You remember that song? I hope it's stuck in your head. And just the three, on top of Old Smoky, all covered with snow. That's what's stuck in my head for days. All right, everybody, here we go. Scorpio. Oh, my Scorpios. I love you so much. I really do. But sometimes you don't know how intuitive you are. Okay, here we go. The High Priestess, of course, because Scorpio, especially Scorpio moon, I'm sorry, I must say it repeatedly, you guys are tasked with so much by picking a Scorpio moon. And I always think you do pick your natal chart. You really are just like on this psychological journey of discovery of the human frailties and flaws. And it's so funny. All right. Then we have the Six of Cups. It's inverted. We have the Queen of Wands. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. Well, this is an interesting thing because the High Priestess, is always about, sort of connecting with that moon energy, with that divine reception, with the inner knowing. It's very connected to the stars, to destiny, and to the contrast of our emotions. The Six of Cups is inverted. So when it's inverted to me now, I'm thinking that there's a lack of naivete. There's a lack of innocence. There's a lack of. I almost feel like if I just looking at this spread that Scorpio needs to make a decision about something that they've been working on, something that they've been growing, and where the next stage or where the next move would be. But I don't know that you're supposed to make that move. I'm going to have to pull a clarification card, because with the High Priestess, it almost feels like I'm waiting for an intuitive knowing. And right now, if for some reason you are experiencing a bit of burnout or tiredness, or, you've been working super hard or whatever, because this is, to me, when the Six of Cups is inverted, I'm not feeling the flow of the energy of that childlike joy and excitement. And the Queen of Wands is asking you to wait for your inspiration to come from spirit. Something's coming. I also see that there's different, like when I look at the different cats in this particular deck, I think that Scorpio, you have various hues and colors to how you feel and your emotions. And it's important to be aware of them on some level, because here is where you're doing this contemplation of what you're going to do next. Now, let me pull a clarification card, because, now this is lovely, because you just pulled the Ten of Cups on top of that. I think this is really reaching for what you want, the Shangri-La of what you want. See all the hummingbirds, the moths, for lack of a better term, in the butterfly family. We see the trout or the salmon offering bounty. Everything is here, and I think you're being tasked on a intuitive level to trust that energy versus having to see it with your eyes. And if there is some sort of stall of something not moving, then just let's give spirit a minute to move things around, because something will either come into your consciousness or into your physical experience that will give you a light on the path. All right, Katerina, she's in the club. And if you know more of the words, I would laugh because I can't remember them all. Well, I think a lot of that waiting to move forward might have to do with the Piscean energy, because that Pisces energy right now with Venus and Saturn's in there too. Saturn hasn't gotten caught up to all of them. He's at 18 degrees right now. But, if you think about that's a pretty big stellium. And for some reason, I feel like it was funny this week, because a lot of people, one client in particular, is very worried about money. And I could feel that on some level I had the same concern, but I also knew that the worry wasn't going to work for me. So I distracted myself. I made bone broth. I did my laundry. I did not do my videos because I just didn't have the chutzpah for it. And in that surrender, I ended up booking 5 clients yesterday. 5. So I got my rent paid. Yay. So that's the weird flow of money, because you can't freak out about it when it doesn't happen. And you got to know that it's on its way, and that there's a very good possibility when when resources feel tight, that there's an exhaustion that gets to be, or playtime needs to be had. Oh my God, they're coming to take that. That's sort of a chanties. Oh my God, we're going to go through all our songs. Now, the next thing you know, it would be Gilligan's Island. I can rattle off that thing. I know every word. Okay. They're coming to take me away. Oh, I I know that one too. It's kind of a, oh my, so funny things. All right, here we go. On to our Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. I love pulling these old things out of my brain. Like literally, as I said that, I started to hear the hee-haw theme song. Sometimes I make myself laugh. I literally a lot of times make myself laugh. I also make myself cry. All right, you ready, Sag? Here we go. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. The Empress, we love that energy. The Hermit. The Chariot. Wow, 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 major arcanas. And then the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. Right now for my Sagittarius is the Empress is, she obviously rules Venusian things here. But what I see is sort of a trust that there must be something going on because the 7 of Pentacles is inverted. And so there's a waiting period of some kind. And that's further evidenced by the Hermit. Something is coming. This is a work energy, also the Virgonian energy. I feel like this Empress, I'm going to be kind of weird about Sagittarius. If you are of childbearing years and you have not conceived yet, please don't freak out because I think a lot of you are going to conceive and give birth during Jupiter's transit through Cancer. I've felt that for a while, but because Venus also kind of, to me, rules that feminine energy of creation and trusting the wisdom of the owl and the stars and the timing of things. Because here's that pause, right, for reflection and wisdom. Virgo, the health, could also have something to do with this. We see victory in the form of the 7 and the Chariot, but there's this, it's hard won because I'm fighting two sides of myself. This is a very emotional card. It's, the moon is depicted here and the connection to the stars. And here we are, these souls having an earthly experience. And part of us is like, I know this is going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And then the other half is like, well, my doctor said, or so-and-so said, or this is what's traditionally happened. Well, if you don't want to be pregnant, then this would have to do with resources and bringing things that you're creating into the physical world. Okay. Because a lot of our tribe is not trying to get pregnant, but you don't even know who's listening in playback. But in the 7 of Pentacles being inverted is like, it's almost like a pause holding on. And I'm going to pull a clarification on that. Yep. There's the 6 of Wands. Something's going to come in and there's going to be a new inspiration. The 6 of Wands is a victory card. So something is going to happen. I want to offer that oftentimes, especially like my Leo energies, God bless you, I love my Leos. I want to see it happen now. I want to see it happen now. And then it doesn't happen and they roar all over the place. And then it happens better than they knew it would happen. This feels like that to me. So there's some kind of pause, trust in this whole, like if for some reason the Pisces stellium is messing with you and it's bringing more erosive than it is blossoming, or you feel like, Spirit, what are you doing to me? Trust a little bit that the timing of this will work out better than you can imagine, because this is definitely a victory. And it's oftentimes depicted victory after the wars. But here we see a trusting of the heart, and this kid reaching for the stars. There's magic there. All right, let's go on to our final sign for the day. That would be our Capricorns, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. So you guys, okay, now that I have 18 people in the room and before I do our last reading, I am considering going live on this Wednesday between 4 and 6 p.m. and doing readings for you again. And I'm contemplating doing it every week now, where this is the general reading And then those are specifically focused on you guys, and we'll do what we've been doing. And rather than doing it on a moon, I'll just do it every week because it's been fun. So I'm going to put up a poll and see what y'all say about that and see how we should do it. Even a poll about the timing, so we can figure out who's coming to the live and if we're doing it in a time where it's not the middle of the night. I think it is in suspended animation right now. And the planets are all moving and transiting into new signs. And I think that this slowdown is really about our awareness of our co-creation. Because the thing I want to say too is that my burnout, every day I say, oh, tomorrow I'll feel more energy. Tomorrow I'll feel more energy. And I thought it was so funny because I'm not drinking. And why aren't I feeling more energy? I was feeling energy, but I wasn't feeling energy to do the things, the videos. I felt like I needed, you remember last September, about a year ago, September, I took a month off. I needed to organize and just clean things. I felt like I needed to do that same thing. To be honest with you, I still have Christmas crap hidden in a corner over there that needs to be moved into, the storage area. I will do my best to send out. I'm going to do much better announcing it. I'm going to put out the poll this afternoon. I'll start announcing it tomorrow, and then we'll start to feel how, we'll get our rhythm for what time really works and even maybe what day works. Wednesday just seemed like a good day. Okay, let's go on to our Capricorn. Our Capricorns, our final sign of the day. Oh, we have the High Priestess again. Then we have the Nine of Swords. We have the Wheel of Fortune inverted and the Five of Swords inverted. Interesting. I like that. I think I'm going to steal that line. I'm taking a conscious break from being creatively productive. That really is like right now, it's my tagline because I'm just, yeah. Okay, Capricorn, this is what I want to say. This is a little bit of a time, you're an earth sign. You want to move the story forward. You're a builder. And here we go. You kind of have to calm things down. And I'll tell you why. The High Priestess is saying you have an intuitive knowing about something, but your instinct for some reason is telling me that you want to move past your instinct and just do what you always do. Don't do that. Here's the Nine of Swords, which is a worry card. This is where I'm sort of getting this. And the Wheel of Fortune inverted feels like you've gone through a Plutonian transformation, and now you've got to implement this, okay? Pluto's moved into your second house. And the Wheel of Fortune is telling me right now that you're worrying too much about things not working out. And inadvertently, what you've done is you've created a scenario where this is inverted. So this is not as intense as it would be if it was upright. So this is, to me, feels more like, and I'm going to pull a clarification card, that there's the potential that as you've shifted, as Pluto has illuminated some of the deeper psychological motivations for you and where you've been enslaved through fear, duty, obligation, even be trapped in depression, that there's the potential of that shifting. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to say it. You better be nice to yourself this week, because I did pull the Devil card again. It's inverted, so it's not as much, but I'm telling you, somewhere you are bucking authority, or you're bucking a system that you created, or you're changing a routine, and the dynamics around you are not prepared for you not to be doing whatever Capricorn does that is dependable and steady and reliable and responsible. And you could really be super fearful that there is a huge price to pay. I can't leave this on the Devil. You now have to pull another card because that's too hard. The Six of Cups upright. It's going to work out. This is going to be an interior job. You're going to be declaring some sort of Independence Day, and and I don't mean it like I'm independent, I don't need you anymore. I mean independent thinking. I mean, like, you know what? Is this good for me? Do I like this? Saturn in Pisces, while many consider it difficult, okay? Saturn here is looking for discipline in my spiritual practices, trusting my meditations, trusting my connection, knowing that I'm historically bigger than I see with my eyes and with my earthly experience. Saturn was a god. Saturn was, an immortal being. And then we go through this whole mortal experience of feeling trepidation about how this is going to play out. And as you are aware of your fears, you have an opportunity to face everything and rise, because that's where this plays out, because all the real challenging cards are for the most part inverted. So I think you'll be able to straddle a line this week. Yeah, it does sound like bull riding a little bit, because it kind of looks a little bit like bull riding if you think about it. I know it's a goat, but there's this weird little whatever that guy is right there. Okay, so that's it. Be on the lookout for the Februarys. They may show up in March. I don't know. But if indeed I'm sluggish, I'm going to do my best to pony up tomorrow and Tuesday and get them out. But check your yearlies. There's February in there for you, and it's marked in a chapter, so you're not completely abandoned without your February horoscope. And look for Wednesday. I think I'm excited. So I'm going to plan on 4 to 6 for this particular Wednesday, but we're going to be figuring out what time works best for all of you. Put your little thinking caps on what you want to ask Spirit, and those that donate get to move to the top of the line. So that's going to be it for today. I love all of you more than you'll ever know. I pray for you every day for your happiness, for your health, and for your harmony. And as I would like to just reiterate one more time, Small Wildflowers is the best human being I've ever met walking the face of the earth. And I appreciate her more than life, because she is, to me, she plays to my earthly energy. She's loyal and she's dependable, and she's she thinks for herself. She's nobody's pushover. So thank you for being here and being the mom in our tribe and keeping everybody in the chat happy and healthy. All right, guys, I'll see you next Sunday before Super Bowl. And I don't even watch football a year, but it'll be fun anyway. All right, so have a great week. I'll see you on Wednesday afternoon. Peace out.